Welcome to this week's Movie Math, featuring another shocker for Hollywood. Yes, for the second weekend in a row, a low-budget, low-profile pick bested an old-school blockbuster featuring top-name talent. But even beyond challenging what Hollywood thinks it knows about low-budget movies versus big-budget movies, The Purge has the potential to be a game-changer for the horror genre as a whole. Made for just $3 million, it marks horror producer Jason Blum's biggest debut outside of the Paranormal Activity franchise yet, which is likely attributable to this being a high-concept flick, which is rare for the genre, as I pointed out in my earlier coverage. The Purge is also co-produced by Michael Bay's Platinum Dunes, which gave the flick a slick gloss, also unusual to the horror genre. The Purge also features adults instead of the usual teen cast, which likely helped broaden the flick's demographic. And on the flip side of that, this is a serious win for Ethan Hawke, who hasn't had a #1 film in over a decade, and even then, that was really Denzel's win. With Blum resurrecting the careers of first Patrick Wilson and now Hawke, expect him to be able to sign up more recognizable name talent going forward. I hope you'll check out my recent interview with Blum, where he's impressively candid about how he's built his horror empire. And I wonder what Universal sent to Blum as a thank you this morning, as he helped them dominate this weekend's box office. Not only did they take the #1 spot, but Fast and Furious 6 only fell 1 spot to #2, passing the double-century mark domestically in its third lap. Meanwhile, Now You See Me clearly has more tricks up its sleeve, as the magic flick boasted a mere 33% drop in its second weekend, extremely rare for any movie, much less during the crowded and competitive summer movie season. This coming week, it will surpass Warm Bodies as Summit at Lionsgate's biggest stateside hit of the year so far, although the distributor is clearly saving the best for last, with Ender's Game, Tyler Perry's A Medea Christmas, and Catching Fire still to go. Then, shockingly, Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn found themselves debuting in the #4 spot, as the Internship opened with less than $20 million. That's a far cry from the box office numbers posted by their first team-up, and clearly this duo just can't keep up with the Wolfpack. At least Fox was able to keep the budget down and should eventually turn a profit in the more forgiving arenas of on-demand and cable television. This is a serious blow to director-producer Sean Levy, his lowest debut since Just Married a decade ago. But he and Fox should have seen this coming, as Wilson and Vaughn have been lagging at the box office for a while now. These stats are out there for all to see in stark black and white, and I continue to be amazed that studios don't take them into account when greenlighting films. As for the rest of the box office, clearly audiences are not coming to rescue Will and Jaden Smith, as After Earth fell about 60% to the #7 spot. We've got ourselves a moderately healthy summer so far, though, with The Hangover Part 3 crossing the century mark, Lerman's Gatsby well past it, Star Trek Into Darkness also crossing the double-century mark, and Iron Man 3 about to cross the quadruple-century mark. Hollywood is hoping Superman can lift them to new heights this coming weekend, though, with Man of Steel. Warner Brothers is trying to manage expectations by predicting their latest DC Comics flick will open with $70 to $80 million, while industry insiders feel it could open with around $100 to $115 million. This time, Warner Brothers will be competing on an even playing field, as Man of Steel will be available in both IMAX and 3D. But it will be interesting to see if the film performs like the first film in a franchise or builds on Nolan's Batman franchise. The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises both opened with about $160 million, although sans the 3D surcharge. There's also no telling how wildcard comedy This Is the End will perform. Opening at about 1,500 less theaters than Man of Steel, it's expected to open with just $24 million, which is on par with Seth Rogen and James Franco's previous team-up, Pineapple Express. However, Franco's career is on fire right now, and This Is the End is currently rocking an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. Man of Steel will be screening for critics early this week, which is unusually late for such a high-profile film. In contrast, World War Z, which will pose some serious competition for Superman in his second weekend, has already been previewed for critics and earned a surprising 80% so far. Regardless, June looks to be a very interesting month at the box office. And that's this weekend's box office. I'm Grace Randolph, and we just did some movie math. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll go beyond the trailer for these other top movies.